Okay. Hey girl, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I I think I'm all right. It's been a lot of things we've been picking up past couple of days.
Yeah, it's been an insane 2 weeks.
Do you want to start what you've been feeling and we'll just carry
Oh
on?
no, you're lagging.
Oh, that happens. All the more natural. Energy surge. Well, folks, you have to bear with us because this is energy surge. Internet is lagging. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine. Well, to start off, I think collectively what we've been picking up a lot is it's a lot of karmic cycle change. It's a lot of karmic debt that's being paid back through disaster, through wars, and it's a very subtle but very strong theme, energetic theme of uprootment. Whoever needs to pay back karmically, whoever needs to pay their penance, to pay back their debt, it's that very instant shift that's happening. I think it's like the crazy stories we used to hear before, isn't it? Someone lost their fortune in a day. Someone got bankrupted in a day. Someone lost their whole family in a day. Or something happened to them within a couple of minutes and just things just changed drastically for them with so much of loss. Do you want to add something with that? Because I feel you have quite a lot to say on this from what I've been picking up.
Yeah, we had the sun Kazemi to Uranus in 27 degrees in Taurus. So for me, it's in my fourth house, which is the home. It's also my inner self, my inner emotional state. And Uranus is here to uproot. It is here to shock the system and bring about change in a really drastic and fast way. And then with the sun being exact, the sun is a very strong ego identity, right? But it also brings in more power. So it's amplifying the effects of Uranus. And for me personally, it's definitely uprooted completely. Like the same day that it happened is the same day I got my notice that was like, if you can't pay rent, you're going to get evicted. Even though we had a discussion about it, and I was under the impression that, okay, if I can't, and I let them know, and I let them know I'm going to vacate, then they won't file it, but they're still going ahead with the eviction. So that is just a precipice of what's to come because it is loss. It is a lot of things that comes with it because it challenges you internally in terms of how stable you are emotionally, mentally, physically, and it also makes you question what matters, what your values are, what's important to you, what is real stability. Because reality is, we try our best to have a foundation. We try our best to do what is necessary to cover our survival needs. But when is it time where your soul is asking for more? We are beyond that time frame of just surviving because we didn't come here to just survive. We came here to be a human being. There's a lot of shifts happening. There's a lot of 5D coming up. I mean, some of us are already in 5D, and others are still awakening. out of the 3D. And, everybody's at a different point of their lives, but what's not working is being shown. It wasn't just my housing situation that took a toll. It really challenged every single person I had that I called home, because the fourth house is home. That is your close circle, your family, your chosen family for that matter, what you call support, but emotional support. Usually these are your friends. I mean, you're not saying that they're a therapist, right? But sometimes they are. And when you don't have family like me to go to and count on, your next state of that would be your friends, if they're really your friends, right? But this time has really shown me that a lot of my past friendships, and even the ones that I've had to recently let go, they were all tied to expectations. They were all tied to leashes, I call them. There's conditions, there's expectations, and if it wasn't any of that, it was a lot of guilt, it was a lot of shame, a lot of judgment. And honestly, like, even if it's not my situation, anybody else who's going through a really hard time right now, that's not something that anybody who's going through a hard time want to hear. You don't want to feel shamed. You don't want to feel judged. You don't want to be attacked for being at a very low position of your life. And we're all, in one way or another, doing that right now, being at a low point in our life. Because, like you said, it's all uprootment. It is uprooting.
That's what I want to kind of intervene and say, that I just want to remind whoever is listening to this that this is a very serious situation that you're in. The conversation we are having now, it's taken a lot of tenacity and strength for us to sit and actually speak through this. You need a lot of mental fortitude to calmly collect and actually speak through the process that you're going through. And I, being your best friend, I've witnessed this with the people around you that you're staying, and absolutely how people show their true colors in the last minute. It breaks my heart to see how superficial some of them are. It's like you said, how much expectations they have, how much of conditions they have, how much of manipulations they want to have and just control over you and your vulnerable situation at the moment. Now, folks, when you're hearing us speak in a very grounded and a calm manner, please understand we have been through death and rebirth so many times that even this phase that Tia is going through, I've had a death and rebirth in a similar way, not in a similar experience, but the energy is almost the same. We are holding so much of space for one another with a lot of strength, with having complete faith that she's going to get through this. She's going to be out of this situation as soon as possible. And that is why we're having this conversation with Tia, highlighting her example of these themes, because it is that painful. It is. And what's even more disappointing is something we discussed this morning, isn't it, love? Like, the system, how much it lets people down, how much charities have become a machine for commercialization instead of actually even they're not even dispersing a percent of goodness. It's all commercialized. It's like, oh, we will add a trust, we will add a charity, we will add a merchandise with it, we will use someone and their predicament and their plight to gain more money in. We'll just take a commission out of that. We will have bankrolls on that. We'll have salaries on that. Is that how charities are supposed to work? I don't think so. where this is kind of really disrupted, dismantled, communities helping one another. Now, love, in the place where you stay, tell me, if the community there, they were go-givers, yeah? If they went and they gave from their heart to support you and help you out, gave you a temporary place to stay, just help you to figure out the stuff that you need, isn't that a lot more better than charity? Because that's how communities were in the past, as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, we were definitely really intimate, right? In terms of tribal back in the day. So everybody had a role, everybody played the role really well because everybody had a purpose. And you not doing it is you letting down the whole community. And that is accountability, which, let's be real, a lot of people don't have it nowadays. They talk about it, they act like they have it, but you really realize who really has it, who's really capable of showing up, doing the work, actually taking action, and actually pushing forward. Because one of the things that has started to become a moneymaker is the spiritual industry.
Yes.
And there are people who actually do deserve to get paid very well because their services, the amount of time, energy, and work that they do, it's equate? It's equal.
Yes. Yeah, it's equivalent. Yes.
It's equivalent to the level of transformations people have. But nowadays, people are just quantifying any number. And it doesn't speak so much to their level of work that they've done to themselves, as much as they just want to be in it for the money because it's the next trending thing, especially with astrology. Because I promise you, 10 years ago, you tell somebody you're into astrology, they're gonna think you're crazy.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
gonna look at you like, what? Like, it's not common, it's not normal, and the only reason why it is now is because it's trending. And I bet you, after a couple years, when this is no longer a trend, you really wonder who's still there and who's still standing, because that's really the truth. And yeah, I'm not talking about the people who started late, because everybody has their own awakening at the time they're meant to.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some of them that are awakening now are meant to still continue, 5-10 years down the road. But again, it's a trending industry right now. So I want to say 90% of the people who's in it right now, it's just in it for the money. And you really got to think about that, because like Ayesha said, we are in a karmic point. Everything you're experiencing right now, everything you're going through, the hardships, even the good things, they're all meant to happen to awaken you, to open you up, to really help you connect deeper to your heart space. But like, what does that look like? It's not pretty, and I want to add one more thing to my situation, and it's that as much as I am going through this emotionally, there's a huge part of me that is okay with this. It's one thing to decide on me choosing and making the decisions that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody has to come with me. Honestly, I don't expect my friends to be there, but at the same time, if they're not, it shows me they were never supportive of what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is true support? True support doesn't come in chains. True support is, okay, this is what you want to do. I'm going to do everything in my power to add to what you're already doing. I'm not going to try and change it. Maybe I'll have some suggestions and I would want you to, try it out, but it's not pressured for you to have to do it, which a lot of people do.
It's respecting your choice, it's honoring your choice, it's honoring your energy into what you want to do. That is what friends are supposed to do. That is what friends are supposed to support each other on, because all of us are different. We're not the same. It's easy to just dish out, and you just put a plate on and say, go get a job. Work like we are working. Go to a 9 to 5. Go to a diner, work as a waitress, or go for the warehouse management, or all of these odd jobs. Do some odd jobs and make a living to survive. Easy to say, mate. It is so freaking easy to say. If you were in that position and people poked at you, yeah, and people poked at you at your vulnerable state for saying that, how would you feel? Think about it. That's the last thing you want to hear from someone you actually love and from someone you care. You thought they also cared about you.
And that's the other thing, is that they will lace it into their version of care. The care comes with expectations. It comes with conditions. And, here's the other thing about care. It's usually projected.
Yeah.
They care about you in the sense of they would never do that themselves. So you can't ask and expect people to understand what you're doing or going through. No one will. Every time. If you're doing something that's different, you're pretty much on your own. The only thing you can do is knowing that they do support you in the best way that they can, even if they don't understand it. They do their little 2 cents. Maybe that is purchasing something even though they don't use it. I mean, I think to some extent you would still be bummed out knowing that they don't use it, but everybody's kind of different in that sense. They show support in different ways. But yeah, and it's also normal for people to kind of take themselves out of it after a while. That's unfortunate, but it does happen. And usually that's just a representation of like they've supported you as best as they can and they don't see it coming into fruition, because in some way people are always seeing it as an investment. Sometimes. Usually.
In our experiences has been usually.
Yeah. And with that, what does investments mean? They want it to come back to them. So if they stop, and it's different if they just no longer can support you, right? Whether it's financially or, whatever you need, emotionally, physically, that's a different story. But for those who really show you their true colors when it's a hard time, and everyone's going through a hard time. Like, realistically speaking, there are some people who are having it good, but we're in a 9 year. So, yes, they're having it good right now. Doesn't mean they're going to have it good the second half of this year, because we're all in a collective 9 year.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the 9 year? It's about endings. So, may not be ending right now. Maybe it'll end later in the year, but everybody in this year will have some form of ending, because it's time for certain things to fall off. And for me, I'm actually excited. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no clarity. It's scary. And for most people, they would probably be freaking out in my position. But when it's time to go. When your time is up at something, at somewhere. You're gonna feel relieved. You're gonna feel like it's right. Even though you don't know what's gonna happen, even though The road ahead is dark and scary. It's still better if you're an adventurer. It's still better than to stay where you're at. Because there comes a point where it starts becoming a punishment. It starts becoming a cost. And
Mm-hmm.
that cost will start weighing heavier and heavier the longer you stay in somewhere it doesn't
Right.
want you to be anymore or you don't belong.
Yeah. Yeah. I Adventuring is one thing. I mean, I'm on you with that because it's quite an adventure. We don't know where you're going to go. We don't know where you're going to stay. We don't know how things are going to turn out. We don't know who's a new character that's going to come in the story in your life. May change everything. We don't know, right? We don't know what's going to happen. The unknown is where we kind of have walked our paths, our life paths, more or less, because it's complete surrender. And it's also with that utmost certainty that we think and we know, hey, the Creator is guiding our steps. We are being guided by the universe. What else could go wrong? And I would also say, when you're in this kind of a position where you have to leave your things behind, you have to leave your belongings behind, you have to leave the people you know behind. It is also another spiritual evolvement of complete detachment. You're no longer attached to the past. Everything, your whole theme of who you knew you were as a person, as Tia, all of that is being stripped away forcefully and is being detached from you. We had so much of discussions on this privately before getting on this recording. So whoever is listening to this is also for you. You're being detached, you're being stripped from everything that you know of because you are forcefully being pushed to evolve. You are being forced to go with your North Node. And weather the storm with your South Node.
Speaking of weathering the storm, we
Yeah.
are having a storm right now.
Yes, in Dallas, yes. There's actually a storm having there. Yeah. It's happening. Real time. I feel we have spoken a lot. I feel a lot of people would resonate with this. And hey, any good souls out there, you just want to reach out and just help out at this situation, feel free to kind of message us or email us. We could really use some help. And I am asking this on behalf of Tia more than anything else because I want her to be safe and sound. And to conclude, I'll let you conclude in the end. Yes, darling. So to conclude, you must endure. You must use your resilience in this moment in time and strengthen your emotional container. This is where you become the difference. This is where you show, are you the leader who's supposed to lead others? Or are you going to be the follower who's seeking a leader? None of it is wrong. None of it is bad. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad about it. Know your place. You have to know who you are. I'll leave the last conclusion to you, Dan.
Thank you. The last part of it is just you don't realize how beautiful it is to break. It sounds really messy. It sounds terrible. Like, just hearing that on its own sounds awful because nobody wants to break. But I'm going to tell you something. Breaking completely actually is just freeing you from all of the shells, all of the masks, all of what is not real to you off. And then when you look around this mess, you realize who you really are won't ever break, no matter what, because that is you. You don't break. If it's breaking, it's not you. You really don't break. Yes, you go through ups and downs. Yes, life happens. But truly, no matter what, you still have yourself. Do you have trust in yourself? Do you have that solid ground within you? Because once you have yourself, anything is possible. As long as you're still intact, anything is possible. Whatever you want is possible. And that's it.
Thank you for listening. We hope you ride through this wave like all of us are. And we'll see you on the other side. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.